From the WKYT studios in Lexington, this is Kentucky Newsmakers with Bill Bryant.
Good morning from WKYT News. Hope you're enjoying your Labor Day weekend. As we get September going, it's an exciting time on college campuses, and things are in high gear at Eastern Kentucky University. The numbers are not final yet, but there's a good chance that Eastern will have its largest enrollment since 1992 and its largest freshman class ever. Campus is changing fast under the leadership of President Michael T. Benson, whose mantra has become "Make no small plans." The EKU football season kicked off Thursday night. Eastern found out this week it is not being invited to join the Sun Belt Conference, but apparently learned a lot about itself along the way. EKU topped off a huge new science building this week and is seeing several programs grow fast, including aviation. And while working to be good neighbors with the fast-growing city of Richmond and Madison County, Eastern's locked in a bit of a battle right now about local property taxes on some fancy new apartments that it leases out and calls the Grand Campus. EKU is also in the running for a presidential debate next year and will host a gubernatorial debate next month. The man leading the charge, working through issues on campus, Dr. Michael T. Benson, now in his second year leading the Comprehensive Regional University. Welcome, Dr. Benson. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much, Bill. That was an exciting summary. Thank you.
A lot to get through here. We'll talk about it. Well, I know your numbers are very preliminary, but I understand it looks like you're going to have some very strong enrollment numbers.
As you said, probably our largest enrollment ever since 1992. And one thing I'm really proud of is in our freshman class, which is close to over 2,900, we have 800 first-generation students. So think about that. I mean, they're changing the trajectory forever of their lives, but those that will follow will be positively impacted too. And when I have a chance at graduation to ask all the first-generation graduates to stand up, I still get chills because they stand up and all around them are their family and friends with tears in their eyes, and they know that they've sacrificed to be there. And that's a number we're very, very proud of.
What is driving that trend, do you think?
Well, I think, like on every campus, enrollment tends to ebb and flow. As the economy goes, when the economy doesn't do so well, people tend to go back to school. When it does better, oftentimes there are more jobs out there. But I think we're in a moment right now in the Commonwealth, too. If you look at the demographics in high school, I think the high school numbers will continue will probably flatten out a little bit right now, but we're enjoying some robust growth. And I think KCTCS, which is a big feeder program into our campus, their numbers are down slightly, but from what I understand from our other sister institutions, everybody's doing pretty well right now.
Beyond the raw numbers, I understand that this freshman class that's showing up seems to be very well prepared this time, better prepared to do college work than has maybe been the case even in recent years.
There's certain metrics that we use, and those needing remediation went down 10%. And you combine that with the fact that their composite, their index score, which is an ACT standardized test with the high school GPA is the highest ever, suggests that they're coming to campus ready to do work. And we had a huge convocation for all of them at the Center for the Arts. And I tell them every year, I said, look, you're here to have great experiences and make new friends, but there are times to be serious too. You need to realize this is a wonderful opportunity for you to change your life and take it seriously. I mean, college is the big deal. And I'm very heartened to see that they're coming to campus more and more prepared.
Now, once they're there, what are you doing to retain students? This has been an issue for many universities and certainly for Eastern, a long challenge of having the numbers look really, really good in early September, but then there are distractions along the way that lead to many students leaving campus before they complete even their first semester. How is that being addressed?
Well, you're exactly right. There are all these mitigating factors out there, but we have focused so much on that first-year experience. As you know, we have a freshman residency requirement, so if you're a freshman, you have to live on campus. And we believe that first semester is a lot of ways the bellwether for student success. If they have a good experience, they get what I call invasive advising, where we get in right away and find out what they want to take and what major they want to pursue, and are they in the right mix of classes right at the get-go. If that first semester goes well, then we have a really good chance to retain them. And even more importantly, Bill, is to graduate them. So it's one thing to get them through the door. We want to get them out the door with a certificate or with a degree. And
what do you do to, to be sure, as you said, that these distractions don't get in their way? I mean, how do you just talk to them very candidly about you need to study?
Well, that's part of it. As a father of 5, that only works sometimes. But it's a lot of coaching. It's a lot of infrastructure that we have in place to make sure they know we're there to help them. You know, I tell parents and students, we're here to help you be successful. You know, the onus falls to you. The responsibility to take the tests and do your work, but we're going to do everything we can in our power to put you in a position to be successful.
As higher education strives to keep those tuitions reasonable and reachable and the quality high at the same time, what are you having to do in that regard to economize or to be sure that remains a reasonable rate?
Well, two things. One, we really try and look hard at ourselves and do those kind of internal evaluations. Are we practicing best practices? Are we as efficient as possible? But also, we put almost $2 million of institutional funds back into scholarships this year. And that has provided a tremendous yield for us. So for those who want to come to EKU, chances are there is a departmental, a college, a need-based scholarship there waiting for you if you earn it and if you keep it.
Do you think in higher education as national policy that we need to be at a point where a year or two of college is almost a right, or is that are we not at that point in this country?
Well, I think one of the hallmarks of American higher ed is access, and I'm really concerned that access is being in some ways narrowed and restricted for some people. That said, with our community college system in Kentucky, if you want to go to a post-secondary institution, chances are there's a program out there for you. And I think we have a wonderful system in the Commonwealth where you can triage a student from one of those campuses to one of the regional or one of the research institutions. But access to me is probably one of the most pressing needs, along with affordability, that higher ed is facing.
If those students start at BCTCS or another school and want to transfer into EKU or to another institution, has that become more seamless? There used to be, just a few years ago again, there was a lot of concern about, well, the credits don't match up, or you might you'd be at one institution and you would not get credit at the other that you were trying to enter.
Well, before he retired, Michael McCall from KCTC came to campus and we signed a joint agreement called Kernel Connection, whereby a student that does enroll at one of those KCTCS campuses knows that those credits are going to transfer. We try and make it as seamless as possible. They get advising on that community college or technical college campus in addition to advising from our own people. And the ease with which one can transfer now, I think, is much, much better.
Your campus has gone tobacco-free since your arrival there, and that is absolute on campus, right? It
is. We found that the enforcement is kind of the tricky part. People on campus, whether faculty, staff, or visitors, really have embraced this idea of going tobacco-free and creating a healthy, welcoming environment for everybody. But the enforcement's taken a little time to get some traction, but we're getting there.
What else are you trying to do to campus? As I understand it, you want it to be much more pedestrian-friendly, and you're working in that regard, and there may be some things that you're not prepared to announce, but there's talk of even potentially closing streets and this sort of thing to make it a welcoming place for walkers.
Well, the timing is propitious because just a few days ago we met with our campus master planners, a firm out of Virginia, and I can't say it now because it's still kind of a work in progress, and we're having public meetings with inviting the community to come and participate. But there are points within the center of our campus where there's way too much vehicular traffic. If you go to really the great campuses in America, they have a common denominator where I believe the pedestrian is treated as first and foremost the most important kind of consumer or entity. And so we're really trying our best to force that vehicular traffic to the perimeter and making it more pedestrian friendly. If you walk through EKU right now, you'll see students trying to traverse parking lots and going back through alleys. And our job really is to create those both north, south, east, west corridors whereby a person can traverse the length of the campus and do so without being worried about cars. And sure, people want to park right in front of their building and have a reserved space, but that's just not doable. And we're doing our best to accommodate it to our commuter students, and we're actually making a request to the legislature this coming session for a bonding authority to do a parking deck, our first ever, So we're hopeful that will pass.
And in the meantime, again, because the campus can be pretty long, especially north to south. I mean, if people are on the north end of campus, you're providing bus transportation to the south end.
We are. There's shuttle services, but our architects showed us the other day, within about a 5-minute walk radius at the epicenter of campus, you really can get to most things. Now, of course, as you said, on the south end, where the Center for the Arts is, we'll have shuttle service to take people back and forth, but to try and make it as pedestrian friendly as possible is one of our singular goals.
I want to talk about your programs, your wish list for the legislature, whether you're talking to these candidates for governor and more. We will do that. We'll be back in just a moment with the president of EKU, Michael Benson, on WKYT's Kentucky Newsmakers. Welcome back in. WKYT's Kentucky Newsmakers on the air, and we are visiting today with the president of Eastern Kentucky University, Dr. Michael T. Benson. They had football kicked off this week, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment in terms of trying to change conferences in an effort that did not, fell short. We'll talk about that in a bit. Well, let's talk about some of the programs at EKU right now. And Dr. Benson, the law enforcement program, world-renowned. You have people who come here from everywhere to be trained, and that continues to be considered an area of excellence for EKU, right?
It really is. If you go to that south part of our campus and see that Justice and Safety Complex, I tell people that if you drive around Richmond at any given time, chances are you'll see a squad car from communities all over our state, because they've come here for retraining and retooling, and our students have, I think, one of the best opportunities for success and job placement. If you look at the placement rates for students that are in that major right now, it's top notch. So we're really proud of that. And I've said before, Bill, successful institutions in the 21st century will find those niches that are unique to them. And endemic to our campus are a few programs that we do really, really well. And we're going to do them even better, but that's really at the top of the queue. And
yet, you know, the police departments tell us it is a very difficult time to recruit police officers with the controversies we've seen around the country. Agencies say that is an issue for them. Some of them reach out for expertise from EKU to get some direction about recruiting and contemporary policies.
Right? And you can open the newspaper, turn on the TV, and see our faculty as expert witnesses, or submitting articles or providing congressional testimony on law enforcement issues, and that really speaks to the expertise that we have right there in our backyard in Richmond.
EKU has and will continue to be a major education college to train educators, teachers. You have plans for, I don't know if you have the money for, a new model laboratory school, which also just got some national recognition.
Right, the high schools in the top 1% of all high schools in all of America. You've traced our roots back to 1906 or 1874 at Central University, and we were a normal school, a place where normal pedagogy was taught, and teachers were trained to go out and impact citizens of the Commonwealth. So we'll never ever stray from those roots, and our goal is hopefully to provide a new model school, yes, lab school for our students, but also, even more importantly, treat it almost like a teaching hospital, like they have at universities, where they have world-renowned hospitals and teaching facilities, clinical facilities. Imagine if someone's in a classroom learning the latest techniques in how to teach a certain topic or subject, and then they literally go over to the model lab school across the way and get to use it in a classroom. And we hope also it will become an epicenter for teachers throughout the Commonwealth to come back for their training and their certification. So we have big plans, and of course, as you said, it's all inextricably tied to funding, and we're going to try hard this next session to try and get it.
And the proposal that you've made, the drawing that's out there, has a price tag of, it's just under $100 million, right?
It's about $83 million. It includes both the school and the College of Education. So it is a big price tag, but we were successful last session, as you know, to get Phase 2 funding for our science building. That was our #1 priority. This is our #1 priority moving forward this next session.
And are you communicating right now with lawmakers and these candidates for governor about your wish list?
Yes, sir, we are. In fact, the President's met with Mr. Bevin just this last week, and we're trying our best to get in front of Mr. Conway. But as you referenced, we're going to have them both on our campus in October for the last gubernatorial debate that I believe you're going to moderate.
Right, to be there and looking forward to that, and that is going to be a special night, certainly. And you are still in the running as well for a presidential debate, right, for next year?
We are. My friend John Roush there at Center has told me that no other event has transformed or projected Center College like the national platform that is provided by a debate and experience like that. And it would be a great thing, number one, for our students to be able to see democracy at work. But we're trying our best. You know, all you can do is provide a venue, and they came out and took a look at it and loved the center, and we'll see what happens.
Do you have a time frame on the presidential debate?
We're down to one of 16 finalists, and they told us they'll make a decision probably September, October.
What do they base their decision on?
I think it's a whole kind of laundry list of factors. Some of the most important are, do you have the infrastructure in place whereby they can come in and stage an event like this? That means security, access to an airport, access to an interstate. So all of the boxes that have to kind of be ticked off, I'm really happy to say the EKU is right there. And when they came in and saw the venue, because last time it wasn't finished, so this time it was done. And there was that wow factor, as you know, when you step in there for the first time. So I like our chances. I don't want to jinx us, but boy, it would be huge. It would be huge for our state.
Well, and you have a little bit of a track record at this point, as opposed to last time when, as you said, it was an unfinished building.
Exactly.
The aviation program taking off. There we go. Bringing attention to the university these days, and you're also managing, and they're in the middle of a name change apparently, from Madison County Airport to Central Kentucky Regional Airport to reflect a more regional mission. But what is driving the growth in the aviation program?
Well, I mentioned those specialty programs, those niche programs that we can do. We're the only aviation program in Kentucky. And what's driving it, quite frankly, Bill, is this acute pilot shortage that's on the horizon. I don't think we fully appreciate. The Wall Street Journal and the New York Times run articles all the time about all these pilots that are retiring, fewer military pilots that are transitioning over to commercial aviation. And we're trying our best to train as many as we can, as cost effectively as we can, and part of that is establishing these partnerships with regional airports throughout the state. Most recently we're out in Ashland, and as you know, Ashland Oil built this beautiful airstrip out there, and through the local representative, Representative Poland, we were able to do a deal with Ashland Community and Technical College where students can stay there, do their first 2 years of coursework, and then we literally take the program to them. And we want to fly the EKU flag over every single regional airport in Kentucky. That's our goal.
So your hope would be that when somebody steps aboard a commercial airliner, their pilot may very well be from EKU?
And I try and wear as much EKU swag as I can when I travel. And I've had a few times where a regional, particularly a regional pilots, come out of the cockpit and say, hey, EKU, that's my school. And that is, I mean, we have a terrific group of faculty. We have the resources. Just had a donor that donated a twin-engine plane to us. And we're going to continue to grow that program.
You've always been known as a veteran school. A lot of people who have gone off and served the country and have come back and continue their education at EKU. And I understand you're not only proud of that, but you try to do what you can to grow that.
Well, think about it. Almost 17,000 full-time students and over, I think it's 1,200, 1,300 veterans that are on campus. So we've always been a veteran-friendly school. We try and promote that and promulgate that as best we can, but make it an environment where we have the infrastructure, the advising, the counseling services, really requisite to make sure those people that have given so much to our country have a wonderful experience and have the tools at their disposal to be successful.
How many degree programs do you have on campus?
Oh boy, you put me on the spot. I think bachelor degrees, we're up over probably 150 now. Masters over 50. We just added our newest doctoral program, which is a clinical degree doctoral program in psychology. So the first at a public institution in Kentucky. We're very excited about that. And we had a full cohort to begin that this last fall.
You had worked to try to move EKU's athletics program up within the NCAA and attempted to join the Sun Belt Conference. I know that's been a process that has been going on for a couple of years. They apparently have chosen Coastal Carolina and will be announcing that Sunday. How disappointed are you in that, and what did you learn in the process?
Well, as our athletic director, Steve Lockmuller, said, and I concur, we're disappointed but not discouraged. We learned a lot about ourselves through the process. we learned that it came down to really facilities. A lot of our athletic facilities need updating. They need improvements. They need to be expanded. All of course, within the realm of financial constraints and what we can afford to do. But Coastal Carolina is a relatively new school, but they put $60.5 million into their baseball and softball facilities. They built a new basketball facility. They're going to expand their football stadium. So we're looking at all those things that we need to do to make sure that if the opportunity comes in the future, we're ready.
Will you try again with them, or do you plan to try with another conference? Or do you have as your goal moving up within the NCAA?
As I've said, it's like getting married. You have to be asked. And this time we weren't asked, but it doesn't mean it won't happen in the future.
Do you talk to other conferences?
We have not had any conversations this far with another conference. Excuse me.
Sure, go ahead. You are planning to run an experiment as you take a drink of water and sell beer.
Yeah, this is water, by the way.
Right,
exactly.
Early. Sell beer at some of your home football games, and again, that's going to be an experiment in a controlled situation this fall, right? What do you hope to accomplish there?
Well, this is a difficult issue. I mean, it's tricky, and we've not arrived at this lightly or hastily. It's been years in the making. A lot of other institutions are trying it. It's a way, we believe, to curb binge drinking. It's also a way to get people, fans, into the stadium, and in a very controlled environment, provide a beverage that they want to consume. We're going to have very, very strict kind of pouring practices, but we're going to try it out with 3 of our home games this year and see how it works. And we're going to make sure we have all the necessary safety and if you will, enforcement things in place to make sure it goes well. So we'll see what happens.
So the idea is that will be in one of the end zones, right?
Right. It's that's the north end zone. So they're calling it the touchdown terrace, and it'll be properly cordoned off and again controlled, and we'll see what happens.
Do you plan to go forward with the construction of the stadium facility, even though you did not get the Sun Belt bid?
Yeah, and I apologize for coughing there.
All right.
The east side is in design, and we've broken ground on it. It probably won't be done for about an 18-month period of time, but it's all part of a larger kind of master plan as it relates to our campus rec facilities, what we're going to do to Begley. Are we going to expand Begley? Are we going to tear it down? Are we going to renovate it? There are a lot of kind of moving parts right now, but the progress you'll see immediately will be on the east side of Roy Kidd Stadium, and improvements both to our softball and baseball facilities. You'll see those within the next several months.
Robert Martin was seen as the president who was in office in the 60s and early 70s and built and built and built at EKU. Do you see yourself in the same realm? Is that what you would like to do?
I would never purport to ever be anything like Robert R. Martin. I've heard unbelievable stories about him. He was a wonderful president and a very effective legislator. And I'm honored that people say, well, this is the new kind of Robert R. Martin era. If I can somehow leave an imprint on the campus that is compared to the Martin era, I'm honored and humbled. That said, during his tenure, which started in 1960 and went all the way through 1976, our square footage went up almost 5-fold. And so what we're dealing with now is 50, 60-year-old bricks and mortar that we're having to replace and refurbish. So all I can do is leave the place better, and we're trying our level best to do that.
Some of the Combs building, for the Combs the dormitory is now going to be offices, right? That one's gone. I'm talking about the Commonwealth.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Combs Hall is gone, but our baseball facility is going to be named for Earl Combs, who Hall of Fame leadoff batter for the New York Yankees. Commonwealth has now been repurposed for office space. And when we met with our master planners, they had some really exciting ideas of where to aggregate housing right in the center of campus to create even more a vital epicenter right there in the middle of EKU.
All right, we're with EKU President Michael Benson on WKYT. Back in just a moment. We'll wrap up and have a question about a little tax issue that has cropped up down there. We're back in a moment. Welcome back to WKYT's Kentucky Newsmakers. EKU President Michael Benson, our guest today. Eastern has leased a large apartment complex with balconies and a pool and a clubhouse that's adjacent to campus from a private developer. You call it the Grand Campus. Local governments and the school system say you owe them property taxes on it. Your position is that the university is exempt from property tax. And
that was the ruling, too, or the opinion of the Finance Cabinet. And I won't say a lot more about it because it's being contested right now. The ruling did come out saying it should be tax exempt. and the local entities that you mentioned are challenging that. So we'll let the process play out and see what happens.
Does it concern you, as hard as you are trying to build town and gown relations and trying to be a good citizen within the community, that you have this kind of issue out there, though?
Well, I've been at this long enough to know that you have these little hiccups once in a while. We want our community to know that as the university goes, so goes Richmond and Madison County, and vice versa. We want to be a good partner, we want to be a good neighbor. But we also realize that we have a tremendously positive economic impact on our community. I mean, without EKU, Madison County is not nearly what it is today. So when those 16,000 students come in and buy groceries and pay rent and buy gasoline, sure, it affects traffic and sometimes it gets a little congested around campus, but think of the jobs and the benefits that provides our local community. So we'll continue to work with our local authorities. We've got a very good relationship with Mayor Barnes and the City Commission, and we'll continue to foster that and work together.
What's the best thing about being president of EKU?
Every day I get to go to campus and be surrounded with young people who are at this fulcrum moment in their lives. And it can go one of many directions. And my job really is to try and exert as much positive influence I can to help them reach their goals. And you combine that with being surrounded by staff and faculty that are committed, faculty that are experts in their field, staff that love their jobs and love Eastern, and it's the best job in America.
Michael Benson, who's president of EKU, thank you very much for coming in. We appreciate it very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. We want to thank you for joining us for this edition of Kentucky Newsmakers. Remind you we have political updates always at KentuckyNewsmakers.com, and you can follow Kentucky Newsmakers on Twitter as well. We'll see you bright and early this week on WKYT this morning, 4:30 to 7 a.m. on mid-morning at 10, and WKYT News at noon, and you make it a good week ahead.